Superman, was it super bad or was it super good? Yeah, it was super good. I actually really enjoyed it. It's probably one of the best films I watched this year. Now, I'm not even like a big Superman fan. I don't even think he's like top 10 superheroes. And I've never watched the Superman film before, but I was in the cinema and I saw the trailer and I was like, why does this look good? And then I saw it was directed by James Gunn and I love the Guardians films, so I was like, yeah, I'll go see this, it looks great. And it was great, I loved it. Now, at first, I was like, okay, this is good. I didn't think it was amazing, I thought it was just good. Like, the story, the way it started, was just like a bit messy. I was like, where is this going? I'm not too sure what's gonna happen here. But then as the story developed, I was like, oh yeah, this is actually kind of good, I kind of like this. Basically, the story is Lex Luthor wants to buy land in an imaginary country, so he made a war between two countries, but then the thing is, Superman stopped that, so now Lex Luthor has to kill Superman so he can start another war and then take over that country. Which, if I'm gonna be honest, is like, that's not a bad story, it's just like, that isn't that interesting to me. But the thing is, they did it so well and so good, I was actually interested, because I don't care about bald man trying to buy land in the Middle East. Now the most controversial thing about the film was the fact that Zack Snyder is not directing it, which I haven't seen Zack Snyder's Superman. I've heard it's decent. Will I watch it? Probably not. It looks very boring. But people weren't a big fan of the fact that James Gunn was directing it. I don't know why. Like, I don't know how sad you have to be to not want James Gunn. He's such a sweet man, and he's made such wholesome films. Well, apart from Sliver, but they're so wholesome and just, it's like a teddy bear. Then Zack Snyder's like some just like guy. But if you prefer Zack Snyder, sure, I don't really care. But I like James Gunn. Now I want to talk about the characters, because that's probably the most interesting thing, as it is a superhero movie. So obviously Superman, I think his name is pronounced David Corenswet. I'm Corenswet for you. No, but I thought he was a great Superman. There's people saying he's unattractive. What, are you delusional? But that's not the most important thing. But I thought he was a good actor. Like, I haven't watched all the Supermans, so I can't really comment on that, but from looking, like, obviously Henry Cavill is a conventionally attractive man, and also is Christopher Reeves. But the thing was, David, like, he is attractive, but he's not as attractive as Henry Cavill. But I like that. I don't think you need a superhero that is the most attractive man ever. Like, literally half of his character is a newspaper writer. Like, he's literally like a geek. Like, I don't look at Henry Cavill and go, that man is a geek. But with David, I can see it, because I think the actual actor is a geek himself. I've seen interviews, he's like waffling about stuff. But he did the Christopher Reeves thing with like acting two different ways with Clark Kent and Superman. Like, I could see the switch, which I liked. But at first, I was like, yeah, that's Superman. I can see that being Superman. Like, I didn't think it was the best, but I was like, yeah, that is Superman. But there was one scene in particular where he's fighting a bunch of robots, and like the sun is shining behind him, and he's just kind of standing here, and like he looks like he is Superman. At first I was like, yeah, well, I could see like other Superman being a better Superman, but I think that scene in particular was when I was like, yes, that is Superman. The best Superman. I think he did a great job as portraying Superman as like this like extremely powerful character, but also very like empathetic and like caring. Like, when he was going on about not killing that massive thing, I don't even know what it was. There's like some massive like Godzilla monster, and he was like, oh, we could just like put it to sleep and do some research on it. And then Green Lantern was like, nah, we're killing it, bro. Now the bad guy. See, with Superman, he's the most powerful. And you'd think, oh, let's get a super powerful villain. But no, they got Lex Luthor. He has no powers, he's just bald. But I think Nicholas Hoult had the best acting in the film. I prefer Superman's character, but I think the performance from Nicholas was great. Like, he was so good at just playing an arsehole, because that's basically all his character is. I liked Green Lantern. Green Lantern was he was a funny character, didn't really do much, but he was funny. Actually, I was surprised because I think he's called Mr. Terrific. I can't, they all have stupid names. The one with the little robot balls. Like, at first, I was like, oh, that is such a boring character. He just flies and he has little robots that scan stuff. But then, in typical James Gunn fashion, they make him look cool. There's like this scene where he makes like a force field and he just like beats up like 50 people and it's sick. Now I actually like that character. It's so easy. Hawk Girl pretty much does nothing, but sure, she has like one funny joke. Lewis, is her name Lewis? Lewis Lane? I don't know. But yeah, she was good. There was a scene where her and Superman argue, which I thought she was great in that, but she is just a normal person, so she was fine. There was another thing. I generally have no clue what it is. It's just some guy. Like, he looks like what... Do you know in Pirates of the Caribbean when, like, the fish people, he looks like that, but he can, like, turn into, like, elements? He turned into poison at one point, and he could fly, and it was like an octopus. I generally have no clue what that is, but sure, he has a baby or something, I don't know. And Ultraman, is that his name? I think it's Ultraman. He's basically just Superman, but better. I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's like a plot twist, kind of like a plot twist at the end. It's like, whoa, you didn't know that, but it's that. Cool. I don't really care for his character, it's just Superman, but evil. And there's a woman, generally no clue what her name is, no clue what her powers are as well. She can just kind of generate follicles, like she can throw blades and hack computers and then shove her molecules into your lungs so you die. Okay. I forgot. Krypto. I love Krypto. I thought Krypto was great. I think that was one of the best parts of the movie. If Krypto wasn't in it, I think my score would have been lowered because I love Krypto. I think one of the best scenes is when Krypto attacks Lex Luthor. If you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's probably the funniest scene. But yeah, the dynamic between Superman and Krypto is great. But I love the movie. I felt it was great. I only have one problem, which I am an editor, so I can tell when scenes have been removed from something, and I could tell that lots of scenes were removed from this. I could tell this was going to be a long movie, like 2 hours 30, 2 hours 40. It was 2 hours, which is a bit over average for a film, but you could tell like a lot of scenes had been cut out, which I don't know if that was James Gunn's decision or it was Warner Brothers, or I don't know. Like, I could tell. Maybe it's just bad writing. Maybe it's got nothing to do with the editing. My thoughts is that a lot of scenes got cut out, which I think is very stupid, because why would you do that? But let's say in a few years' time, maybe soon, they do a director's cut. You know, that could be cool. Make it 2 hours 40 or something. I'd definitely watch that. But that's literally my only complaint with the movie. I thought it was like a perfect movie. But apart from that, I loved it. I thought it was great. Like, literally the only problem is there's not enough, which I think that means it's a good movie. Also, I cried in one scene. It wasn't even that emotional of a scene, I think. I think I was just like, I was going through like so much because I loved the movie. I would describe my feeling for the movie as love, because it was the scene when Superman went back to his foster parents, and like, I don't know his name, but he's like the Uncle Ben for Spider-Man. I don't know what his name is. But he was just talking to Superman, and I cried. It wasn't even that sad of a scene, but I did. Like, it's an action movie, but the thing is, they don't really focus on the action. Like, the action isn't the standout points of the movie. It's mainly the talking point. It's like the exposition, which is mainly focused on. It's like the emotions, which I like. Because, like, most superhero movies are like, whoa, this scene is so epic, they're fighting. But this one, it wasn't like, yeah, the fight scenes are cool, don't get me wrong. Like, there's a few cool fight scenes. But I remember the just when they were talking more than the fight scenes. I thought they were great. Now, typical James Gunn, you know, Guardians 1, 2, and 3 had like 50 songs in each. So I was expecting the same from this. You know, Superman. He even made like a playlist on Spotify, like of what each character would listen to, and I was like, that's so cool. I listened to it. It's got some good songs, but there wasn't many songs in the film, which I was surprised. I wasn't like, that's a negative. Like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I was just surprised because, you know, typical James Gunn, amazing music taste. Guardians 3 is one of my favorite soundtracks. But there was like 3 songs, I think, 3 main songs, and they were good. They fit the vibe. They elevated. Elevated the scenes, I guess. I don't know what I'm talking about. I love the Superman theme. It's so good the way they did it. I don't know who composed that, but shout out to them because they did an amazing job with that. I love the Superman theme. Another thing, I'm not going to talk about it much because I'm not smart enough to talk about it, but it's highly suggested that this is a metaphor for like what's going on in the Middle East right now, because obviously you got some like billionaire funding a war, and then you've got Superman. But I think that's a great thing to include for a film with such, like, I think it's like the highest grossing movie of this year. So yeah, it's great that it's raising awareness for that. Thank you, James Gunn, and thank you for sending me that paycheck so I can make this video. Bye.